I want you to tear down this power bank from oraimo. Hey guys, Mistake here, and I have the Powerjet 130. So this is a 27,600 milliamp hour power bank, and it has 130 watts charging speed. And I want to tear this down just to see what it is made of. Now, for context, this is actually my first time opening up a power bank, yeah. And I also want to test if it actually delivers on the claimed specifications. Now, let's start off with the build, and I'm not even going to lie. It looks good, right? It also got a display in front, so when you press the button, you see the display, and you can use this to see the battery percentage and even the charging speed when you plug anything into any of the ports. And on top, you have two USB-C ports and a USB-A port. Now, the first USB-C port actually supports up to 100 watts, and this can be perfect for charging your laptops, charging your tablet, or what have you. While the second one actually supports 30 watts, and the final port, which is the USB-A port, can push out 24 watts, and you can use this for your phone or for your tablet. Oraimo also added something they're calling an Ani Fast feature, and this pretty much figures out the best charging protocol for any gadget that you plug into this. Now, before tearing this open, I'm going to use my power meter tester to actually measure out the input that you get from this guy. And based on my test, if you're going to use the 100 watts power delivery charger and the included Type-C to Type-C cable, you should be able to get up to 20 volts, confirming that it can be fully recharged in approximately 90 minutes. So aside from using my power meter tester, I also did a charge test, and it's around that time. Now, let's test out the output as well, because this is equally as important. And yeah, because of the laptop charging capacity, it was pushing around 40 watts. But if you had a gadget that requires more watts, you should be able to get close to 100 watts from this power bank. And of course, with the 27,600 milliamp hour capacity, you're looking at around 5 full charges for most flagship phones. And in case you're wondering, yes, you can actually charge multiple devices at the same time on this power bank. Anyways, let's try to do real world test, because that's what my test is all about. And the first test is I'm going to try to drain my MacBook's battery to 0% and try to charge it back to 100% just to see how long it would take this power bank to charge my MacBook. And yeah, at the end of my test, it actually took me about 2 hours to charge this laptop from 0 to 100, and I still had about 40% left on my power bank. Now, if we were to calculate it, that's an efficiency of around 80%. As for the weight test, this weighs around 592 grams. Now, for context, I weighed a bottled water just to give you an idea of how heavy, or rather, of how light this power bank is compared to the capacity that it actually carries. Alright, now that my test is over, it's time to open up this bad boy. And straight off the bat, I can already tell that this will be difficult to open, majorly because of the build. And let's just say I was right. So for this, I'm going to be using all of these tools, and after several hours of trying to pry this open, I had to switch to a heat gun just to loosen things up without necessarily affecting the battery. And like I said, the major reason why this is so is probably because of the way that they have built this power bank. Now, I tried to compare with another power bank to see how difficult it was, and this was relatively harder to open up than the other power bank that I tried to open up. Anyway, inside the power bank, I found 6 lithium-ion batteries, and they are likely 4,600 milliamp hour each, considering that this is obviously a 27,600 milliamp hour power bank. Now, for context, the power bank I also opened uses lipo-cell batteries. Obviously, lithium-ion batteries are not just better, but they are also safer as well. Let me touch on the PCB panel for a second, and it's got a dual boost converter setup to handle the multi-port charging efficiently. I also spotted a swell controller on there, and this pretty much handles all the power delivery and quick charging protocols that are needed for this power bank to function. Of course, there are fuses, there are temperature sensors, that's this one here, and there's also an overcurrent protection that I've noticed as well. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really excited that I got to see what is inside a typical power bank like this. Anyways, now that my teardown is over, it's time to compile it back, because I cannot allow the power bank to go to waste like that. And also, just to be on the safe side, I also took it to a car care center near me, and I was able to get it properly sealed up in no time. So what's the verdict, right? Well, let's just say if you're looking for a power bank that can charge your laptop and a phone at the same time, I feel like this is a great option. I really like the build. I like the fact that it's quite compact. And honestly, the fact that this was so hard for me to tear down is also a selling point in my opinion. But yeah, with that said, let me know what you think about my experiment. What do you think about my tear down? And yeah, what gadget should I tear down next?